So I first heard about this one from Austin Burke here on YouTube, and it's this tiny little indie movie that's been in the making for 3 years. And the idea behind it was so intriguing I decided to give it a closer look. I read up on the synopsis and watched the trailer, which just got me even more interested. So I decided to watch it and review it since there aren't many reviews out there of it. Now, as I said, this is a tiny movie, as in the budget was probably minuscule. And like most movies of this kind, it shows, not gonna lie. But I'd say it's mostly evident in the acting. It wasn't phenomenal, to be honest. However, the direction wasn't bad, and at times the cinematography was very good. Although a little bit inconsistent maybe, but it wasn't distracting or anything. And the highlight for me personally was the score. I thought it was great. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. It looks good, sounds great, and the acting's sorta passable. But I pretty much knew what to expect, so I wasn't let down by the technical aspects. Now when it comes to the story though, the thing that really made me want to see the movie. It's strange to say the least, but also very creative and ambitious. They definitely didn't set the bar too low when they decided to make this. I mean, it's some sort of surrealist, metaphysical, sci-fi fantasy thing. And I'd be lying if I claimed to completely understand it. It's not a very transparent movie. And I know some people like movies that leave a lot up for interpretation. I do too, sometimes. However, most of the time it's not my cup of tea. And in this case, I'm not really sure how much I enjoyed the story here. But just to give you some sort of idea of what the basic premise here is. It all essentially revolves around this mysterious piece of music. A recording that supposedly elicits drastically different responses in different people. And it's about a man in possession of this recording who sets out on a journey. He decides to walk across the country to deliver it to his mentor, I believe. But there are other forces at play here too, who also want the recording. So that's basically where the tension and the drama comes in. And as I said, there are some sci-fi and fantasy elements to this. It gets pretty weird, but I didn't necessarily dislike those parts. It's just that I didn't really understand them, and they weren't really explained either. So I just wasn't sure what was going on and what the rules at play were. And that lack of explanation really extends to the rest of the movie too. It's very vague, and it's definitely not a movie that spoon feeds you information. It's more of a slow drip of bits of information that you'll have to piece together yourself. And here's the thing, I already read the synopsis for the movie and saw the trailer. So I had a pretty clear idea what was going on going into this. But had I gone into it completely blind, like I do with most movies, I have a feeling I would have been very confused and bewildered. So yeah, it's a unique movie for sure, and a very ambitious project to take on. Very much in the vein of something like Primer, philosophically. You have an idea and you find a way to execute it, even though you don't have many resources available. And I have to admire that, but at the same time, I'm not gonna claim to have loved this movie. In fact, I don't even know how much I really liked it. Mainly because of the vague nature of the story. I'm just not sure what it's really about, and I don't know what I was supposed to get out of it. It seems to be trying to say something, and there are some hints toward it being about depression. But ultimately, what's the point of it? I'm not really sure. I'd also have to say that it could have been cut down in length a bit. There were just too many scenes where I was wondering if they were really necessary. And what the purpose of them really was, so that's something worth mentioning. But overall, it's a creative movie. And I thought the score was great too. But at the end of the day, it's not my cup of tea. But at least they tried something different. And I try not to be too harsh on movies that take risks and think outside the box. Because that's really the only way you can make something unique that stands out. But would I recommend it? I mean, for most people, no. But if it sounded interesting, give it a look. The links are below. Otherwise, you can probably skip it. Or don't. I'm not your dad. But I am trying to sell out, so consider liking, subbing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need to get myself a shotgun and a cassette player. And hey, why not drop a comment below or check out another review? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.